Section 6. The reasons God did not intervene. In the fall of the first human ancestors, God, being omniscient and omnipotent, must have known about the deviant acts of the first human ancestors, which were leading to their fall. Why, then, did God not intervene to prevent the fall? 6.1 To maintain the absoluteness and perfection of the principle of creation. In accordance with the principle of creation, God created human beings in His image, with the character and powers of the Creator, intending that they govern over all things as He governs over humankind. However, for human beings to inherit the creative nature of God, they must grow to perfection by fulfilling their portion of responsibility. While people are still in this realm, God does not directly govern them, because He wishes to allow them to fulfill their own portion of responsibility. If God were to interfere with human actions during their growing period, it would be tantamount to ignoring the human portion of responsibility. In that case, God would be disregarding His own principle of creation, according to which He intends to give human beings His creative nature and raise them to become the lords of creation. If the principle were ignored, then its absoluteness and perfection would be undermined. Because God is the absolute and perfect creator, His principle of creation must also be absolute and perfect. In summary, in order to preserve the absoluteness and perfection of the principle of creation, God did not intervene in the acts that led the human beings to fall. 6.2 That God alone be the creator. God only governs over a principled existence, which He has created, and only sways the course of principled acts. God does not regulate any unprincipled existence, which He did not create, such as hell. Nor does He interfere with any unprincipled act, such as criminal acts. If God were to affect the course of such beings or acts, then they would necessarily be given the value of God's creations, and be recognized as principled. Consequently, if God were to have intervened in the fall of the first human ancestors, He would have been attributing to those acts the value of His creations and recognizing them as principled, since it would actually be Satan who manipulated the situation to bring about this outcome. It would in fact be Satan who created another, new principle, and Satan would stand as the creator of all the fruits of the fall. Therefore, in order that God remain the sole creator, He did not intervene in the human fall. 6.3 To make human beings the lords of creation. God created human beings and blessed them with dominion over everything in the creation. Human beings cannot rule other creatures. If they stand on an equal footing with them, they must earn certain qualifications to exercise their God-given mandate to govern. If God were to rule directly and control the lives of human beings who were still in the state of immaturity, this would in effect grant the authority of a ruler to those who are unqualified to rule. That is, it would have the effect of granting this authority to those who have not yet fulfilled their responsibility or earned God's creatorship. It would contradict God's principle, because He would be treating an immature person as if he were mature. God, the author of the principle, would be disregarding His own principle of creation, which He established in order to enable human beings to inherit the nature of the Creator and govern the creation. Consequently, it was in order to bless human beings as the lords of creation that God had to restrain Himself from intervening in the acts of immature human beings, as He watched with trepidation their tragic fall.